Imagine a world 3.3 million years ago. The African savanna is a place of brutal heat and apex predators. In the tall grass, a small, upright walking primate picks up two river cobbles. With a deliberate strike, a sharp flake flies off. That single, jagged edge is more than just a rock. It is the birth of technology. It is the moment we stopped being just another animal and began our journey toward the stars. But now, fast forward to the present day. In the dense jungles of the Ivory Coast, a chimpanzee named Freddy picks up a 15-pound granite stone. He carries it to a flat root, an anvil, and begins to smash open panda nuts with rhythmic, calculated precision. In the nearby savannas of Senegal, another group of chimps is busy sharpening wooden branches with their teeth, creating spears to hunt bush babies hiding in tree hollows. If this looks like the Stone Age to you, you aren't hallucinating. For decades, we clung to the belief that man the toolmaker was a unique title. We believed that our ability to manipulate the physical world was the divine spark that separated us from the beasts. But as we observe our closest living relatives today, that pedestal is crumbling. Are chimpanzees entering their own Stone Age? Or have they been there all along, waiting for us to notice? To understand the gravity of a chimpanzee holding a spear, we have to look back at the 1960s. Before Jane Goodall arrived at Gombe Stream National Park, the scientific consensus was rigid. Only humans use tools. When Goodall observed a chimp stripping leaves off a twig to fish for termites, she sent a telegram to her mentor, Louis Leakey. His response changed science forever. Now we must redefine tool, redefine man, or accept chimpanzees as human. From an evolutionary perspective, a tool is a force multiplier. It allows a biological organism to bypass its own physical limitations. If you don't have claws, you make a knife. If you don't have a long beak, you make a probe. In the prehistoric context, this was the difference between starving during a drought and thriving on hidden resources. The termite stick was the software update that allowed primates to access high-protein snacks tucked away in fortresses of mud. But while sticks are impressive, stone is the true hallmark of a civilization's footprint. Stone doesn't rot, it leaves a record. And as we look at modern primate behavior, we see a disturbing similarity to the archaeological sites of our own ancestors, the Australopithecines. In the Thai forest, chimpanzees don't just pick up any random rock. Research shows they have a lithic culture, a passed-down tradition of stone tool use. They select specific hammerstones based on the hardness of the nut they are trying to crack. They will carry a perfect stone for hundreds of yards to a specific anvil site. Archaeologists have excavated these chimp sites and found that this behavior isn't a recent fad. Some of these stone hammers have been in use for over 4,300 years. To put that in perspective, while the ancient Egyptians were building the Great Pyramid of Giza, chimpanzees in West Africa were already thousands of years into their own tradition of stone technology. However, there is a catch. If you look at the stones used by chimps, they are mostly percussive tools. They use the weight of the stone to crush. Our ancestors took a radical leap forward. Flintnapping. They didn't just use the stone, they transformed it. By striking one stone against another at a specific angle, they created a cutting edge. This is the upper bound of the Stone Age. Until a wild chimp intentionally naps a stone to create a blade, some skeptics argue they are merely in a pre-Stone Age phase. Perhaps the most prehistoric behavior ever witnessed in the wild is the use of spears. In Fongoli, Senegal, the environment is a dry, open savanna. very similar to the environment where early humans evolved. Here, chimpanzees have been seen crafting weapons. They don't just find a sharp stick. They select a living branch, trim the side branches, strip the bark, and then use their incisors to chew the tip into a lethal point. They then use these spears to stab into tree cavities where bush babies sleep. This is calculated predatory behavior. It's an arms race. What's fascinating is that this behavior is primarily driven by females and juveniles. In human prehistory, we often imagine the great male hunter, but the Fongoli chimps suggest that innovation often comes from those who lack the brute strength of the alpha males. It's a reminder that technology is the equalizer of the weak. In the prehistoric world, the first person to sharpen a stick wasn't the strongest member of the tribe. They were the smartest. If wild chimps haven't mastered flintnapping yet, is it because they aren't smart enough? Science says no. Enter Kanzi, the bonobo. In a landmark study, researchers taught Kanzi the art of flintnapping. Bonobos are our hippie cousins, more social, less aggressive, but equally intelligent. Kanzi was shown how to strike stones together to create a sharp flake. Not only did he learn it, but he also innovated. When he found that striking stones by hand was jarring his wrists, he began throwing the core stone against a hard floor to produce flakes. Kanzi used these flakes to cut through thick cords to access food. He even used his tongue to test the sharpness of the edge, a behavior that likely mirrors exactly what our ancestors did 2 million years ago. When researchers analyzed Kanzi's trash pile of stone flakes, they found they were nearly identical to the Oldowan toolkit used by Homo habilis. This tells us that the hardware for the Stone Age, the brain power and the manual dexterity, is already present in modern apes. They have the intellectual capacity for the Stone Age. They simply lack the environmental necessity. One of the most mind-blowing examples of primate tool use doesn't even involve our closest relatives. In Brazil, capuchin monkeys have been caught accidentally entering the Stone Age. These monkeys smash stones together to lick the mineral dust. In doing so, they inadvertently create sharp, conchoidal flakes, the exact kind of flakes that archaeologists use to identify human sites. In fact, some sites in Brazil were originally thought to be 50,000-year-old human settlements, until researchers realized they were actually monkey workshops. This raises a chilling question for paleoanthropology. How much of our uniquely human history was actually written by other primates? It forces us to look at the prehistoric record with a sense of humility. We weren't the only ones experimenting with the physics of stone. We were just the ones who made it our entire identity. Why did humans go from stone flakes to smartphones, while chimps stayed with stone hammers? The answer lies in the feedback loop. In the prehistoric savanna, our ancestors were forced into a niche: scavenging. To survive, we had to get to the meat and marrow of a carcass before the lions came back or the vultures finished it. A sharp stone wasn't a luxury, it was a survival requirement. This created a selection pressure. Those who could make better tools ate better. Those who ate better grew larger brains. Those with larger brains made better tools. Chimpanzees, living in the resource-rich jungle, never faced that evolve or die moment with stone tools. Their Stone Age is optional. Our Stone Age was mandatory. We are the products of an arms race against extinction, fueled by the very stones we learned to break. Let's look at a specific example to make this vivid. In the harsh droughts of the 1990s in East Africa, researchers observed a group of baboons. Usually, baboons are foragers, but as the plants died, they began to hunt. They didn't have tools, and as a result, many died from the energy cost of the hunt or from injuries sustained while trying to kill prey with their bare hands. Compare this to a hypothetical group of early humans in the same drought. With a simple sharpened stick or a heavy rock, the energy cost of killing a gazelle drops significantly. The tool acts as an external organ. It is a biological cheat code. There is a documented story of a chimpanzee named Santino in a Swedish zoo. Santino would calmly collect stones from the bottom of his enclosure's moat, pile them up, and even manufacture concrete discs by chipping at the enclosure walls. He would then wait for the zoo to open and throw them at visitors. This wasn't a reflex. It was premeditated planning. He was imagining a future conflict and preparing his arsenal in advance. If a chimp in a zoo can plan an artillery strike for 3 hours in the future, imagine what a chimp in the wild could do if their survival depended on it. As we conclude this journey into the Primate Stone Age, we are left with a profound realization. Being human isn't a biological status, it's a technological one. We are the ape that adjusted the world. The lesson here is one of connection and responsibility. We often view ourselves as separate from nature, as the masters of the earth. But the chimps, the bonobos, and even the capuchin monkeys are showing us that the human spark is actually a primate spark. We are part of a continuum. We are simply the branch of the family tree that took the tool use experiment to its extreme conclusion. The story of the Stone Age isn't a story of the past, it's an ongoing process. As we watch a chimpanzee sharpen a spear, we aren't looking at a lesser animal. We are looking at a mirror. We are seeing our own ancestors, millions of years ago, peering into the darkness and deciding to fight back with a piece of wood and a shard of stone. Intelligence is everywhere. It is the environment that determines how that intelligence is used. We were lucky, or perhaps cursed, to be pushed into a corner where technology was our only escape. As we protect these primates and their habitats, we aren't just saving animals. We are saving the other Stone Age cultures of Earth. We are protecting the only other beings who might one day look at a stone and see a world of possibilities.